Good morning. This is Sadi Phayet. Welcome to my channel. While you're here, please like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my channel and leave a comment to let me know what you think of my content, okay? Please remember that I have ebooks for sale on Amazon under Sadie Fayette, ranging in price from $1.50 to $6.99. So check that out when you get a chance, and thank you in advance for your support. So I've been wanting to do a talk about game, okay, because oh my God, I just did this talk on my tarot channel, and even though this is not a tarot reading, I do have some oracle cards that I'm going to read the messages from because the messages are very powerful, and I want us as mainly as women. There are men that fall for game too. There are, like I said, my learning is coming from watching Paternity Court. Is untold pain and heartache that is being created because of the lack of morality in the current society, in the lack of caring for others, and the golden rule: do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Yeah, it's a lot of just self-seeking harm, okay? But game is the ability to manipulate a person by telling them a lie that you have no intention of honoring, by telling that not your it's a lie, but it's in the guise of painting a picture of a relationship you want to have with them that you have no intention of having, okay? And really getting them caught up in you and in what it is that you're saying that you want to have, to the point that they truly believe it. Okay. And then they get brokenhearted, lots and lots of aftermath. Um, yeah. This is relevant. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because we all know about game. You know, in the Black community, we have a saying that goes, don't hate the player, hate the game. The title to this video, as you can see, is Don't Hate the Player, Know the Game. Because what good is it to just hate the game you keep falling for? You don't hate yourself, don't hate the victim. What is it? What good is it to hate the game if you're not in a power position to master the rejection of the game or avoiding the game altogether? Okay, so the basis of my talk has to do with my history, but first I'm going to read some cards that have to do with having someone invade the space and the what is it? Just invade your life and take away your choice for not choosing to be in their bullshit, in the cycle of that they're stuck in, that they've lived in all their life. Okay, of cheating, of lying, of having multiple people. You didn't choose to be in that, but sometimes we do. These young girls are choosing to be side pieces. Why? Because they get to just have fun with a man that's taken or married. They get to get bills paid, go on trips. They're just having fun, have wonderful sex, with a partner, and have a friendship. So before I get into all of that, um, the bottom of the deck, this is the shadow and light. Isn't that very, very relevant to this subject? This is the shadow and light oracle deck. And this particular card is shallow grave. You miss someone. Sometimes when we are forced, because we are going through so much pain with a person, that we're forced to walk away from them, to divorce them, to leave them, we the missing them that naturally takes place soon thereafter, and maybe for a while, we will put more stock in that than our healing and our upgrading, the work we do for the life we want. We'll put more stock in the fact that, but I miss him, but he dogged you, or he lied to you, or he tricked you, or he drained your energy. He took advantage of you in whatever way. You were under an illusion when it came to this person, okay? They were not what they seemed to be. I'm not going to go into, you can go to my tarot channel, my Gypsy Hermitage Tarot, to get a lot of my back history. I'm going to sum it up in a nutshell. I'm not going to talk as long as I did there, although I think, it's a good, it's a good talk. But so that's what that card. I'm going to read from the guidebook when it comes to these two. But I just wanted to mention how much stock we put in missing someone when it was really an illusion. We miss the friendship and the laughter, or whatever the best parts of the connection were, or the relationship or the marriage were, but we need to remind ourselves of the worst parts, because that's the part that caused us to leave it. And that's the part that if we got back with that person would cause us to need to leave it again. Okay? We need to be, what we need is to be on a path of enlightenment, a path of personal power, a path of truth and real love. But real love doesn't come until we are already cultivating the elements of real love in our own life. And that's healing, self-love, growing spiritually, growing your career to a totally different height than you ever have before, benefiting from a spiritual journey that wakes you up to more positive energy, and that brings in everything that's good. Okay, the first card that I have here is Death and the Maiden, and I'm going to read about this card. It's about invasion, boundaries violated, and dominance. If there's a player in your life, he is dominating you in order to keep you in his slot of women that he juggles. Okay, so Death and the Maiden, that's number 28. Let's find that in the guidebook. Oops. 28, okay. And it says, this is the card, I'm going to show it to you. It says, a leering skeleton is looming over a beautiful naked young woman and doesn't seem to have any idea of how its presence is affecting her. It is not aware of, and it is not interested in her response, her reality, or her needs. The skeleton represents true death, the relentless ego. Oh my God. And is way too close for comfort. The vulnerable young woman is cowering and feeling herself frozen, stuck, as its unwanted hand touches her. Lord. And he says, this is what the skeleton says, I am full of needs. I am hungry for life force. I need to be close to this young one, as she has all that I long for and all I have not created for myself. I will simply hover about her and take from her that which I want, her warmth, her energy, her emotions, and her beauty. She is an extension of me. What I want, I will take. And I love her too, very much. So much I may just consume her entirely. Damn. The divination message says, there is a very out of balance relationship between you and another at this time. It may be that you are death, taking too much and imposing on another, and all the while blind as this skeleton to the truth. Or it may be that you are the maiden and have no defenses against another who is draining you, claiming all the while to love you. You may have been drawn into the drama and color and entertainment of a relationship that is full of highs and lows and passion, but you are now discovering that it is tiring, draining, and lacking in respect. It is time to truthfully assess this relationship and take steps to be safer, more protected, and more respected. Do not attempt to convince death of its problems. Those real people will only draw closer, cling harder, and convince you that you have a problem, not them. You may feel fear as to what they will do once you separate from them, as they are vindictive and malicious. Freedom is worth the trial of separating. Ask yourself, is this relationship healthy for me? If the answer is no, then you must take steps to go. Man, 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 man. So, there's a whole bunch of types of relationship that can fall under that crap. Okay? The next card is the dress of alchemy. This has to do with cultivating personal power. Let me see. Yeah, release your power. You have to be powerful to get out of ties like this. But we're going to talk about ties like that. This is number 33. Let me find it in the book. Yeah, dress of alchemy. There's the card. You have powerful energy. When this beautiful being shows up in your readings, you have strong, powerful, vibrant energy that changes lives. You have it because you're human. Okay, you don't need a card for that. So take this as it resonates about your character and about the powerful nature and spirit within your body. And with that comes great responsibility. Some people may be eroding their own energy fields with blame, discontent, and choosing the same destructive patterns over and over again. When this being walks in, she shows that it is possible to change deeply and truly, and to become clear, bright, strong, healthy, and very powerful in terms of your energy. She understands the responsibility and has worked consistently and with great discipline and earnestness to be able to create. The eyes in her wings. Yes, there are eyes in the wings. Can you see the eyes in the wings? I think. Yeah. There are eyes in her wing. The eyes in her wings make it impossible to hide from the truth of who you are. The divination message says, please take time to clear from your own sacred energy field jealousy, envy, fear, and guilt. Once you are clear, welcome in bright, strong, powerful, healthy energy. After this has taken place, expect symbols and signs to pour in. Keep your energy strong and bright and follow the signs. When your energy is strong and bright, when you come from a place of love, courage, and wisdom, you will attract the right signs and will not be misled. Do not expect to have no change after her arrival. Relationships and situations based on ego-centered concepts containing toxic energies will fall away naturally, and you will now ask for your worth. This is not hubris, overweening pride. It is self-love in action. That's some badass shit. I love it. So, briefly going over my history in love. I grew up in the 70s, and I am one of 6 girls that my parents had. They had 1 boy. And my parents were activists in the civil rights movement. We were raised in the Black Power movement, which was about cultural expression, taking back our names. You know, a lot of us changed our names, or our parents did rather, to African names. We learned African culture, and that's how we lived. You know, we were really active in uplifting our people, encouraging people, being charitable. When people were in need of clothing, food, whatever, we were found providing what they needed. And I loved, you know, just that realm of giving, you know, that just that pure building of community. And so, but I also saw within that, and even just in the greater Black community, the different types of relationships. And of course, you're going to see in real life, you're going to see the worst, and you're going to see the best, and you're going to see those that fall in between. And so, you know, I always noticed the women that were being abused, but I also noticed people that had gotten married because of convenience. You know, maybe the woman was very attractive and had many options in love, and many men that were after her, and she opted for the one that had the most money. Then you also had those situations where a couple got pregnant that were either dating or just had a sexual encounter. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much with these videos. I need to drink some hot lemon and water, but where they got married, you know, because they got pregnant and really were not as compatible as they should have been to be in a happy marriage. Or sometimes, you know, it just happened that the soul connection was much stronger in certain couples. And because of that, they were just always the couples that you loved to see because the love was there, you know, and they honored and respected each other. And then you also had those women that were always getting cheated on, things like that. And so my parents, you know, a lot of parents, or really mothers and grandmothers, would teach their daughters how they should accommodate men in relationships, how they should serve them, how they should be subordinate to them. My parents never did that with us. We never got a teaching like that. As a matter of fact, because my father had been a police officer for half of our childhood, until he became an executive with the housing authority, he would give us lessons based on shit he had seen, you know. So I remember one lesson I heard was that, you know, don't even let them hold your hands. They just want to have sex. Teenage boys, you know, are just out to ruin your life if you let them, because they just want sexual encounters. And so I wouldn't even hardly let a boy like me. I, I wouldn't hold their hand. I would just come out and tell them exactly what my father had told me. No, you just want to have sex. And I'd leave them standing in the middle of the hallway with their mouth hanging open in disbelief. Because I've always been blunt, and just true to myself. You know, in my parents raising us without that kind of standard of subservience, but in sports camps, like, we learned how to play and excel in every sport, from tennis to softball to swimming to, my father played golf and he had practice supplies at home, so we played with that, to kickball, to badminton, to what else? I don't know, you know. And then just like the things, the sporty things that we got involved in the neighborhood, like jump rope. No one could beat me in jump rope, and we were vegetarians. You're not going to have more energy than a vegetarian. You're just not. Girls will come from other neighborhoods to try and beat me in jump rope and could not. Okay. My sisters, my two sisters that were twins, they were Geminis, which are some of the most ambitious people. Um, they would get into swimming relays with children older than them and win. You know, we were just, but when you have girls, especially involved in those kinds of activities, you're raising some very confident women, like for real. But with me, the thing along with that, though, the thing that caused me to have the perspective that I did when it came to relationships, like I've never been on a path where I just want a relationship. I just want a man. I want to have a man to myself. No, my path has been very organic and very spiritual, even though it wasn't conscious. Now it's a conscious path for going for the things that I want. But before, I would just I lived very organically. So if I saw a boy or a man and was like, wow, you know, I'm attracted to him. He looks a certain way that I love. I would be on a mission to meet that boy. And I was not a popular person. Like if I was known, it was probably because I had a temper. I didn't talk a lot. So that stood out, you know what I mean? But I was smart at the same time. I was pretty, but I wasn't fashionable, you know. Even though I did my hair very well. I knew how to tweak my eyebrows. I would wear my little eyeliner, mascara, maybe a little lipstick or whatever. But I was not the most anything. You know what I mean? I just was comfortable with myself. I was very confident. So there was a certain all boys school in my city that the girls wanted to date a dude from that school. And I'm sorry. I should have taken a break for my last video and had some hot water with lemon. So sorry for all the coughing. Um, and one of my sisters and I think, had gone to a party at that school, at that male school, right? And I saw this football player. He was a star football player, actually. I didn't care what he was. All I knew was he was a boy that was fine to me. And I was like, oh, I want to meet him. How can I meet him, right? My sister was much more popular than I was, so she knew a lot of people. And she was, she was like, let me see who knows him. Let me find out what his name is or whatever. So I was just like, cool. I was confident. I'm telling you, I didn't have any intentions of sleeping with him. I wasn't having sex. I hadn't even kissed the boy yet. That had nothing to do with the fact that I saw something shiny and just wanted, I don't know. I didn't even know what I wanted him for. Like, for real. It was just my inclination in the moment, and I wanted my way. That's it. That's all I could tell you. It was all about me, which is refreshing when it comes to women, to have that kind of perspective. I wasn't even trying to use him for nothing, because usually when women have a self-serving energy, it's because of something they want to get from a man or a boy. You know what I mean? And that usually comes from teachings from their mothers. That's called running pockets, or you want to be made popular, or maybe you're popular and you want to be with the most popular person for notoriety's sake. I didn't care about being known. Give a damn who likes me. Never that kind of person. Never. I don't care. You can kiss my ass. I'll curse you out in a minute and feel good, because you are so superficial and I got to check you. Not if you're a timid person, but definitely for those people that were vain and loud and would try and make other people feel bad or treat other people bad, I'll take you down in a minute. Okay, so no, I'm saying that to say I'm sorry. I have a temper. But I'm saying that to say that was not, I didn't have no motive like that. Like, there was nothing I was looking to get at all. I just saw something and was like, wow, from my natural feminine energy and being, that here's the opposite energy and being. And I'm saying, damn, that was made well. Right? So funny. Anyway, so suffice it to say, I'm not going to go through all the details, but suffice it to say, we started talking on the phone. He agreed, to talk to me. We agreed to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And he came and went. We didn't have anything steady because what I did fear was the physical. Getting involved with someone physically. He was very fit, very handsome, pretty lips. Oh my God. And I was definitely, in puberty mode. So it wasn't like I didn't have those urges, but I've never been the type, I'm a very disciplined person. I always have been. And I wasn't about to lose that. I don't like to be out of control of my own power. No, you don't get to have my power. Not at all. So, let's see. Right before my prom, and this is what I mean when I say, even if I can't even say he was my boyfriend, like I said, like a steady thing. Like, we didn't go to parties together. I don't remember us ever doing that. We might have talked on the phone. He probably came over to my house and sat on my porch with me sometimes. But whatever it was enough that we were familiar with each other that right before my senior prom, I called him back and told him I wanted him to be my prom date, and he agreed. This was someone that was very well known. Do you hear me? That girls were after. And my little mousy ass pulled him right into my energy at will. And I think it was just because of my confidence to do so. Confidence is sexy. I don't give a damn if you having sex or not. That energy is very compelling. It influences people. Women, you have to hone and have knowledge of and use, not, like I said, for the purpose of manipulation, because some women use it for that, and that has always been the case. I'm talking about as a righteous or as whatever type of woman you choose to be, for whatever it is that you would like. Use it without harming anyone, though. I never harmed anybody. Not willingly, because I was always honest. If, I'm going to do a thing. If I say I'm going to be your girlfriend, I'm going to be your girlfriend. If I say I don't want to anymore, I don't want to anymore. And I stood by that. I never cheated on anybody. Okay? I never told anybody I loved them if I didn't. I didn't do that. I'm not a liar. I don't tell someone I want something with them when I don't. I don't do that. I didn't run game. All I ran was my honesty, was my interest. That's all I ever put out there. So, having the same experience at 19, I met my first relationship, my first boyfriend, like serious relationship, where it was ongoing for 2.5 years. We loved each other. I never had sex with him. Like, I was only 19. He was only 20. You know what I mean? I figured he was having sex, but I was getting to know him. We were spending time together. He went to college with my older sister. So, but he was an engineer student and he already worked for a company part-time. So most of the time he would pay for me to come on the train to see him. This is what I'm saying. It was equal give and take. I would pay, sometimes he would pay. Most of the time he would pay. He always showed up to pick me up. I don't care who else he was seeing or sleeping with. He was my boyfriend and he treated me as such. He always treated me with respect. He didn't let nobody say nothing around me, say nothing to me. He almost got in a fight with white dudes who were in a group who came around and tried to flirt with me, but it was demeaning. You know what I mean? And I told him about it. He was from New York, and he almost got into it. He didn't play. He was from Brooklyn, but he was very ambitious, you know, and beautiful. Oh my God. Again, when I met him, I saw him and was like, wow, right? And he had given my sister a ride home real quick from school to pick up some things, and they weren't dating. And I saw him and went back to school with them for the rest of the weekend and was with him ever since. So now that's not game, but that's the real game, okay? That's the real game because, like I said, we were raised, my parents raised us to be expressive, outspoken, and I was shy most of my childhood, but once I grew out of that shit, you never have to guess what I thought, felt, or what I meant. Nothing. I was blunt, I was direct, I was compassionate. I was never the type of child or person that got into a deep argument with someone that I knew would be too weak of an opponent. I don't do that. You had to be Goliath, and I would happily get into something with you. Okay, I'm just saying that's my character. I'm not saying that as if I'm better than anybody or nothing like that. I'm telling you my character because a player, their character is to get most of the time sex, but these days it's not just sex. The energy of love, life is so stressful. There are people that will use you just for the fact that you love them. They love to talk to you. They love to be in your presence. They love the things you say about them. They love that you can look into them and see their best parts. And because there's so much grief and pain and stress in life, they don't want to have that in a relationship where they would have to be responsible, where they would have to curb their promiscuity. But on a regular cycle of other women that they have for maybe only sex or for the same thing that you offer. Never think that you are the only one that's giving him what you give him. And this is what I said in my talk on my tarot channel. As soul growth rises on the earth, so do game. So do players rise. And this is how they rise. Because at a certain point in our history, players started going to church because it used to be if you were a church girl or a church boy, church man, church woman, your life was the church. Remember that? Where the preacher and the deacon and the deaconess and the whoever in the church, the members were devout. You didn't hear no music in their house except for gospel music. They didn't watch any TV unless it was of the best quality and content. They only had friends with other people from the church. Only. Their children's friends were only the children from the church. And then at a certain point, because the women in the church didn't go to the clubs, only the loose women. See, this is back in the day when we had standards. Right now, everything is melding together. That's why there's no morality. Because what was in the street, as far as clubs, is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about poverty. What was in the street, you running the streets, you sleeping with married men, those kind of women or those kind of men that's sleeping with loose women, but they were alike people. They were into the same things, you know. Fast living is what they used to call it. That didn't come to you. You didn't come to the church because you would get looked down on. Because first of all, you were dressed like what you were. You would get looked down on. Your family would shun you. Just like in The Color Purple, Suge Avery was shunned. from the church because her father was a preacher. She was shunned from her entire family. Okay? And that's how it was. And so you had the people that would go to the club to hear somebody like Suge or to, party. And then at a certain point, as standards dropped, I don't know what caused the standard, I couldn't tell you, but they dropped big time. And then you had the women in the club, maybe they got tired of never having a man. They started going to the clubs to get a man, however they could get them, even if they were just their side piece or just to have a lover or to get with a man that you hoped they would turn into something or whatever. Okay? Until then, after that, because the women that were also in the church were now also going to the club, and then they go back to the church, then the men that were out in the street, running game, started saying, we need to take our game to the church. Because that's where we can definitely find the type of white that's going to put up with the shit we do now, since most of them have had a grimy past. So now you can hold a grimy past over a woman that wants to clean up her life. This is just what game became. I'm not even into yet what game is today. It's deep today. You ain't got to hate the player because you want to have compassion for another human being. But you can't just hate the game. You can't detest the game for existing, but you keep falling victim to the game. Stop, please. Empower yourself. Man, please empower yourself. Master knowing what the game is. Know the game. Know the game when you hear it. Know the game when you see it. The worst thing that could have ever happened to a person like me with a voice that she has used all her life is for me to go through some shit and learn what something is and then share it with everybody else. I'm gonna write a book. Oh, yes, I am. And I'm a writer. I'm gonna write a book. So anyway, right, the game got a little more messy because now you're melding the good world or the more purified world with the grimy world. Now there's grime in the purified world. There's hardly any more purification. Now the preachers are hoes and sleeping with all the women in the congregation. Now the deacons are sleeping with all the women. Now all the members are having affairs with each other. Now people have no problem dabbling and messing up your marriage. Nothing is holy. There are no morals today. So now today what we find, the game is in friendship. But as I said, there's always, whenever things get very dark, God always starts to intensify his light. So that's why you have this twin flame journey. It's not so much, and people take it and do some stupid shit with it. So you probably know, because there's a lot of people claiming I'm a twin flame. He's my soulmate. Even though that's her husband. No. Again, that's the grimy mixed with the pure. The real path of a soulmate means when you are an evolved soul and you meet a soul like you who mirrors your level of purification. Not that you're some pure, you're better than folks. No, but it's a work. Shit. If I do the work of purifying myself, if I'm not out here fucking around, if I'm not committing crimes, if I'm not doing things to harm people deliberately, if I'm not messing around in your marriage while calling you my friend or my cousin or my brother or my sister or my whomever, all of these talk shows, reality shows is full of the filth of what we have become in this world when it comes to any human interaction. It's no holds barred and shit. And game in relationship is a part of that, but you got game in every sector. But we're just talking about relationship, okay? That's where we try to free ourselves up today. So, and because Sadie went through some shit last year and she's learned a lot. And I said in one of my videos that because of the way I was raised, my siblings and I, when we learn something, we can learn a little bit of a subject and we go straight forward and fast with it and master that shit. And I went through a lot. And it don't take me more than 6 months of bullshit to know I don't want you. Because you didn't want me anyways. You know, that's the truth of it. But we'll get to that. So let me go in order. So right, the grindiness and where we were supposed to be able to go to clean up our lives is now merged. You can hardly find a religion of any type. I don't give a damn what you say, where promiscuity is not rampant, where domestic violence is not rampant, where sexual child abuse is not rampant. Because the time where it was good to keep the pure separate from that which was not so pure, because we don't do that anymore, we don't honor that anymore, because most people are dabbling in some way in some type of grimy behavior. Because now if you watch Paternity Court, you will know. If you watch any reality show, but Paternity Court is a specific place to find these truths out, because it's a court where, man, it's like there are men and women that come into your life in the guise even of friendship. And that's what the player is these days. It's a friend. And they maintain friendship with you so they can come into your life to fuck you, or to get or to have sex with you, but also to receive love from you. So they have honed the skills of sex so that when you have sex with them, it's like the best sex you ever had. And because you have a friendship, or they have mastered this level of friendship with you, where they know how to have either superficial fun conversations that don't mean shit, but it makes you laugh, they charm you, or they can get as deep as you want to get into spiritual matters, because they have family members, check me out, who are tarot readers, who are mystics, who are diviners, who tell them secrets, who tell them these truths, knowing that they're players. See, your integrity is weak when you do that, when you help people along those lines. This person that I was involved with last year, just a connection. We never even slept together, but we had so much chemistry. Who knows how long Sadie would have been caught up in that shit. And if I ever do sleep with him, it'll be back on my own terms and shit. You don't get to just break my heart. But I'm mentioning that because, again, as God perfects his light to counter the level of grime in the world, the player is benefiting from that light and is stepping his game up in the realm of the spiritual light that's going on. So this is one of the things I realized, because I would listen to tarot readings, because I never did until last year. I was looking for guidance to understand this person, because his behavior was something I had never experienced in relationship. Like, I never had to convince a dude to spend time with me ever. And all I ever did, I didn't even finish telling you about that. After my 2.5-year boyfriend broke my heart by sleeping with someone because he was mad at me and then telling my sister and two of her friends about it. And she came back and told me. I broke up with him immediately. Everybody thought we were going to get married. And I never turned around and got back with him ever, ever, but loved him. I didn't even look at another man for 2.5 years. Please stay with me. I know I'm jumping around a bit, but for the people that come and listen to this, just trust that what I'm sharing with you, you need it. Okay. But after that 2.5 years was over, I was hanging out with some girlfriends of mine. I was in college. I was hanging out with some friends of mine, and a friend of theirs had come by who was in the Army. He was a sergeant, and he was attractive, but he was like silly. He was like silly, right? He was just real silly. But after I hung out with him a couple of times where he was there, I basically told one of my friends, I was like, is he in a relationship? Because I've never been the type of woman that goes after somebody's man. And I was a pretty woman. I was pretty, I was confident, I was nice, I was smart. Okay. I smelled good. And I, asked her if he was in a relationship. She said no. And I asked her for his number. And she was like, why? I was like, don't worry about it. Called him up. And even though I had never had sex with my first boyfriend, he was very large. Like, he had a very large penis. He was half Jamaican, half Italian. Oh my God. I thought this man had a third leg when I saw that shit. But we tried once. It was after I had gone to the gynecologist to get the pill. And when I told her I was in a 2-year, at that time I had been with him 2 years, and that I, thought that we were going to have sex, but he was very large. She did not ask my permission, but I was not offended either. But when she did the exam, she broke my hymen for me. So when in our attempt to have sex, I didn't go through that pain. But it was just overwhelming because he was so big. So I made him stop. So that was my only experience prior to mentioning that, so that I wasn't a virgin, making a liaison with somebody. But I called this dude up and was like, I was wondering if we could hang out. And he was like, cool. What do you want to do? I was like, I was just thinking we could have sex. And he was quiet. And he was like, okay. And so we were together. We just had sex for about, a few months. And then I joined the nation. And I shut that down and was celibate for 8 years. And after 8 years, I had enough. No, didn't have enough of the nation. I love the nation, but I took 4 years off and, went back to what I had started with that one brother, which is not that I started sleep. I'm telling you, I did it in my own. It was my own, what served me type thing. But I would never sleep with multiple people at the same time. Once I chose someone, and believe me, I kept them busy enough. I don't think they were sleeping around. Now, sometimes if I was in a connection that was sleeping with someone else and I got that feeling, I would just let them know, just so you know, there are consequences. If you got something else going and you don't just let me know, because I would let a person know. You know what I mean? So I never had tolerance for bullshit. You can tell me, damn, if you don't want to spend time with me, say that shit. I'll find somebody else if I want to be bothered. Most of the times I don't want to be bothered, or I didn't. So anyway, so I started going out with my sisters because they both had friends, groups of friends that were usually associated with who they went to college with and who they worked in corporate America with. And one of my sisters had a get together, and one of her coworkers was there for all the get togethers I happened to be at. And I noticed him. He was he was handsome. Excuse me. He was handsome. He was fun. We were the exact same age. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. And one night I asked her for his number. And before I asked for his number, I asked her, is he the kind that does he hit women? Is he mean? Is he nasty? Have you ever heard about him having diseases, things like that? She was like, he's just a player though. He's a hoe. I'm like, oh, that's okay. So I asked her for his number and called him up, and he was like, oh, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. I was wondering if we could, spend some time together like I did before. And he was like, sure. I was like, well, I really wanted us to become lovers. So I was wondering if we could have sex, if I could have sex with you. I haven't had a lot of experience, so, I'm open to learning new things. When I tell you it was crickets on the phone, it was crickets. Okay. And then he slowly was like, sure. But he shared with me that he had two women he was choosing from to choose who was going to be his wife, and they knew about each other. And he would also tell both of them about, what him and I were going to be doing. And I said, that's fine. Because I had admired the fact that he was upfront, that this was not going to be something, he wasn't going to take my choice away and put me in that situation where I was going to be hurting someone. And actually, after we stopped dealing and I went back to the mosque, I saw him he came to Savior's Day. He had never done that before, but from knowing me, and I had talked to him, and he had watched the minister with me before. And so, yeah, out of his curiosity, him and his wife, once they were married, the one he chose, they came to Savior's Day, and I greeted them and hugged both of them and kissed them on the cheek. She knew who I was, so she smiled at me. We were very friendly with each other. We never had a threesome, so any men that listen, no, that didn't happen. But we still, if we ever ran into each other, we would be cool. And that's just how I've always rolled. So then last year, there's a friend of mine, we've only been friends for like more than 20 years, because he used to date a roommate that I had more than 20 years ago, in 1995. And because he dated my friend, I would never consider her. I just considered him my brother. And that's how I always, ever, ever, ever looked at him. And so last year we had connected on Facebook, and he convinced me that we should try and have a relationship. And I was very hesitant, because even though I wasn't really close friends with my ex-roommate anymore, and really, yeah, we had fallen out, or and not that that mattered. Like, I'm not that type of chick that, oh, we fell out, I can go after your man. I just didn't see him that way because we had been friends so long. I didn't, and I knew he was a player anyways. You know what I mean? And over the years, the couple of times he would ask me, "Did you ever have a crush on me? Did you used to like me?" And I'd always sincerely be like, "No, I didn't," because I had put him in a category of my friend's man. And my character, I'm very disciplined. I was raised very decent. My mother was not a cheater. She was not a loose woman. She was a very beautiful and decent woman my whole life. That's all I ever knew her to be. And I didn't stray from that. Even though I made up my own paradigm of relationship that would keep me from having my heart broken, I still didn't cheat on my lovers. You know what I mean? I didn't have a lot of grimy shit in my life. I didn't run my life like that. I didn't allow anybody to take my choices away. So this dude, I can't even go into why he was so promiscuous, because then you probably know. But suffice it to say, he got around. Okay? Tupac energy. And most men, not that you have to have a big penis to be a player, but yeah. Usually, men that do are, even if they're married, I don't give a fuck what you say. Okay? Men that are well endowed, spread it around, because there are a lot of women that prefer that girth and length. So, but even there are players that are not so big that players master sex. Okay? They master those skills. So you can be sleeping with someone, you can meet someone, and like I said, they've also mastered this spiritual, how to make their spirit peaceful, how to certain spiritual knowledge and jargon. It's game, man. If you on game, you got to learn how to get a certain type of woman. Now, if you only deal with the women on your level, you don't have to have no game at all. You're just hooking up with like-minded people. But that's not as much of a challenge. And players, like any man, like a challenge. So, so these men, among the community of women that are on a spiritual journey of self-mastery, who are truly like beautiful souls, who are not the type of women that would ever harm another woman or take her man away or get all into that. No. And even though I'm feisty and a warrior, I'm decent like that. Like, I'm very, very decent. If I even get the whiff that you are married, you can best believe, first of all, I don't respect you beyond a certain point. I will probably never even say to you that I know you're married, unless there's a reason for it to come up, because we would never be anything more than friends anyways. So there would be no reason for it to come up. There will also never be a reason for us to have certain kinds of conversation that would be inappropriate for a married person, ever. I'm not that chick. I'm not that kind of woman. Even at 16, even at 18, never. All my life. And that's how truly spiritual women are. And they are on a path because God is blessing them. God is bringing real spiritual unions together today. That's what this whole soulmate, twin flame label is. But like everything else, you have the real thing and you have the trend. The trend are these babes that, and not that a white woman, a specific type of white woman could not be the soulmate of a black man, but not in the numbers like we see in, no, that's white women hunting black men. That's not divine. And then they know how to master any type of subject that will enable them to win. So veganism is big among the twin flame community. Why? Because you healthy as fuck and looking your best. You working out. You marketing yourself. You're praying and meditating. Your spirit is chill. That don't mean you're with your soulmate. It does not. That means you are a person on a mission to get a specific person and make them yours. And no matter what they put you through, you ain't going nowhere in their life. You are always going to be right there. You have made yourself into a soul partner for them, but the real soulmate is the one that they come from the realm before this physical plane. There's only one. And that one, that true energy will knock out a contrived energy, because that's a woman that has put on the whole armor of God, like she put on her fake titties and fake ass. Period. Do with it what you will. So Sorry. I don't play no games. I'm not on bullshit, but I'll call some bullshit out. And I'm not dumb as anything. So, um, so yeah, these dudes and these women too. And but the women are so mean in their game. Like they're getting nice, kind dudes, but they mean to them. Like when you got men crying in court because you have allowed them, because they just want a family. Maybe they grew up in the system and they just want a family because they never have family. You stupid pieces of shit bitches. And then you come along knowing how, heaven forbid you're beautiful. You got some ugly on the inside, beautiful women who are wrecking the lives of good men. This is on paternity court. Got these men breaking down, breaking their hearts because you done told them this is their child. And you said that you wanted to just have a family with them and you cheat on them all the time. And then take them to court, put them in jail sometimes, and then let them come back into the child's life because they didn't have enough money for the child support that you want to drain from them, only to find out it's not even their child. I hate that. Anyway, man, learn the game. God damn. Act and live from the point of view of what the hell serves you. What do you want? If you get a whiff from somebody, they're attractive, cool, they're attractive. So what? How good are they? Don't you know that there are attractive people that are good? You can find someone, they ain't got to be the prettiest. I can amend my standard of what I want in beauty, but not too far. Shit. I want my ultimate partner. So he's going to look good to me. I want to look good for him. I'm in transformation right now. I'm trying to get myself back to as close to the best I've ever looked because my quality is on point already. I got to tweak my spirit because I am feisty and I don't want to be, too argumentative. I don't. But I learned that from dealing with my friend because I offended him. I had to apologize after I stopped messing with him. And I had some time to just heal my emotions, and balance that out because he had my feelings fucked up. And I never let nobody play with me like that. So I was angry with him for a while. The way, if you get a smart woman hurt and she's good, like I was good to like he knows how good I am even toward other women, where if other women wanted him, I didn't want him to hurt them by you know what I mean? You're not going to throw me up in nobody's face to hurt them. No, you're not going to. Even my ex-friend that he used to fuck with, I'm going to take a picture of us. That'll blow her mind to see us together. No, you're not going to do that to her. I'm not going to help you hurt her when she always just loved you. That's my character. You don't get to take my character. Not at all. But I'll be damned if I settle for less than that in a partner. I'm looking for my match, period. Everybody else can kiss my ass. And if we don't, good people that do have good character and are not out here hurting folks, not out here just running game because you just want to fuck everybody, or you want to run pockets and get a married man's money, or a man that has money get his money because you young and your body's tight, but you taking an older man's money because he just is tickled that he can get a young girl. Most young girls are only running the old man's pockets. Trust and believe that shit. Man, real love has destiny tied to it. Real love is a destined thing. If you're on a path to learn the most you can about yourself and your connection with God, there's a person who you are meant for, or who you will absolutely match, who is also on that path, and you will meet them on that path. Wait to meet that motherfucker. Stop dealing with these people that ain't about nothing but another nut. I'm sorry, that's so crass, and I'm too good for that. Oh, I'm sorry. Me and my friend used to talk shit so much that my mouth can be all over the place, and I'm sorry. It doesn't really, it's not my character though. It's like, I went through a divorce in 2012 and became a single mother. I have been celibate since my marriage. I'm not out here like that. I've never been just wildly promiscuous. I am a disciplined person. Does that mean I don't need a lover? No, Jesus, it don't. I am on a path of transformation, and I know the first person I deal with is only going to be a lover. And I'm going to choose him the same way I always had. And it's not going to be because of anything somebody deliberately tries to do to persuade me. It won't. It will be what serves me, who I want to sleep with, period. Get some of that, sisters. Get some of that. Take your power into your own hands. And maybe you'll even find love because someone will respect you enough to say, damn, I don't want to lose her. You know, like Steve Harvey said, most players give the same thing, the same, whatever they give to the random chick is all you're going to ever get. But there's one woman, only one that he will change for. Everybody else will only get what he always gives. And as I was listening to, this is why I mentioned this early in the talk, I was listening to or watching tarot readings last year. And after I realized that my friend didn't have no real intention towards me, even if, like, he did get more of a respect for me. He did. Like, he loves me as a person. You know, I still love him. I do. We got to know each other much more deeper than we ever did. So we're always going to love each other. We loved each other before as friends, but not like where we told each other we loved each other, you know? We just felt like that's my brother for real. That's my dude. That's my sister. Now we do. We will always have a love for each other. I believe that. You know, that's the best thing that has come out of this debacle. But what was I about to say? But at the point that I realized I was getting what he usually gives to other people, damn, what was I gonna say? I knew I was not his one. Oh, but I knew because I know how he gets down. I know how promiscuous he is. And I'm listening to these fucking tarot readings and shit talking about talking about your past partner that you didn't have the best connection with is coming back to be in a real relationship with you. He's realized that you're the one for him. No, because he would choose spiritual women anyways, some of the ones that he would really get a connection with, not the random ones that were just on the same level as him. I would listen to those reads, and even now, I'm like, that could be 500 people. I mean, no, that's not you. That's not you. That could be anybody. And I could watch zodiac readings, and he would probably have a plethora of babes in each zodiac. that could be thinking he, specifically this one person, is their soulmate. I know there are. Even ones that have broken up with him and never gotten with anyone else believe he is their soulmate. That's how deep this shit is. Wake your ass up. Some of you all are still stuck on somebody you believe is your destiny. And he got a whole bunch of other people, and maybe some of them, just a few other people that believe the same, baby. Because you are a part of his harem, and he is giving the same lip service and dick service to all of you. And that is my talk. Peace.